What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the All Star Sports Show. It's kind of crazy. Actually, we're bringing this back for a bit of a change.
Listen, man, we needed more sports shit. We were doing a lot of wrestling stuff, and that got overshadowed by it. So we needed a day to do a sports show. We have to bring that
And
back.
plus,
So,
there's been a lot of shit going on as of recently.
a lot of shit's happening in the sports world, just like in the wrestling world, which is kind of why the wrestling stuff kind of overshadowed the sports stuff because there was just so much wrestling stuff that happened.
Yeah, and there's haven't really been much anything of significance in the sports world, other than the fact that
you got the whole Harrison Butker bull crap, and then
which we're not.
We're not gonna give that doofus the
And that's already been a dead horse that has been beaten already. So
it's already been beaten already.
But so far, like I said, we don't have much. But I do want to go over some things. Obviously, really interesting of note. But obviously, with the NFL coming back starting in September, I think it would be a perfect time to do this on a weekly basis. Give a schedule prediction for all of the conference or the divisions. Well, we're going to kick it off probably with the division with the most Super Bowls, and that's the NFC East with 13 combined Super Bowls between the Eagles, the Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders. So, start with the Commanders. Before we get to their schedule, I kind of like what they've done a little bit because my thing with the Commanders,
they've kind of really bolstered what they needed to bolster up. I think the problem lies now with coaching.
We're gonna see how
and I still think they don't have that gritty coaching. They don't.
Well, we'll find out come kickoff.
The quarterback situation that still begs to be answered, that question. But yeah, I really like what I've seen from what they did in the draft and what they did in free agency. I'm liking what I'm seeing from that team.
And it's kind of funny because I was actually defending Sam Howell because I thought Sam Howell would be the guy for Washington going forward.
I was defending him too because I liked what I saw last year from the guy.
Let's bro, we played like shit against him, but that's here nor there.
He looked, bro, like freaking prime freaking Tom Brady against us. Like just dismantling our defense. But the thing is, though, our defense was pretty bad last year.
Yeah, that's true.
Our defense was pretty.
It was been more than hot than 2-pack of ass.
You know what was 2-pack of ass? It wasn't just the defense; it was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
that guy was.
It's kind of funny, since you mentioned that. Now he's actually took up a not the OC position. I think he's in a different spot with Washington. That's kind of funny. But
at least he's not the OC there. If he was the OC there, I'd give
that's Cliff
Washington
Kingsbury
a lot of fucking flack for that. I would. I'd give them a lot of flack for picking him up as OC. Like, really, you picked him up as OC? He was terrible for us.
But then again, knowing with Josh Harris actually going in a different direction, and again, a guy like Cliff Kingsbury could really, I would say, do this. No, the only thing I would say.
But then again, though, Cliff Kingsbury didn't do anything in Arizona. He had that fluky, playoff run with Kyler Murray, and then like after that, they just bottomed out, and that's why he got fired. And it wasn't because of poor roster construction. Yes, last year it was poor roster construction. That roster wasn't gonna win nothing. All right, they were tanking. It was tank mode for them. You see that you saw that roster and you're like, like even before the season we called it last year for Arizona. That was a tank season. That was not a like, oh, we're gonna win.
And that's kind of crazy too, because we all know how bad the Cardinals had. Well, outside of what?
Outside
1998. When was the last time they made the Super Bowl? I know they had
it was 2008, but also I would say they haven't been that great since 2015. Because remember,
Who
2015, they made it all the way to the NFC
the
title
fuck did
game.
they had a quarterback in 2015?
Carson Palmer, I think.
Oh,
It was Carson
jeez.
Palmer.
I forgot
It was
about
either Carson. It was either Carson Palmer or fucking what's his face.
for some reason.
Oh,
God,
it was Andy Dalton. Was it Andy Dalton? No, it was
no, I
Carson
think
Palmer.
Dalton was somewhere else.
Oh, Andy was in fucking the Bengals. Excuse me. Yeah, that was Carson Palmer. When he was still good, and then after that, they didn't do much with him either.
Yeah, Carson Palmer in his age 36 season at that time.
And then he
At the
started
time,
to show his age after that.
I mean, which is, and that's, I think we all can agree the biggest, I would say blemish, which just kind of Larry Fitzgerald not having a Super Bowl ring for a guy that's going to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver.
See, that's what pains me. I think they should have won it in 08. They should.
They should have, but unfortunately,
for some reason, that defender sold, and Ben found a guy over the top in the end zone, won the game for him. So
that sucked, man.
There, it does suck because even a guy who was seen as washed up in what's his face?
Kurt Warner?
Yeah, Kurt Warner. I don't know why I blanked on him. The guy, he was seen as washed up because he wasn't doing much for the Rams after '99.
Yeah, I don't think
they
show on turf
more times, and then he was hurt, and then he wasn't playing well post injury, and he got traded, and he was seen as washed up.
Yeah, so but either way,
but for him to play lights out in the Super Bowl and they still lost.
You can't really put blame on Warner for that one.
Blame the offense for it. It was the defense at the end of that game.
But overall, in 2015, they went 13-3. Good Lord, it's kind of hard to believe now.
They went 13-3 and made it to the NFC title game.
Yeah, I mean their expected win-loss was 9-4-1. Wow, they actually had an expected win and loss at 9-4-1.
Why would you like expect them to just win 9-4-1? Where are the other?
I have no fucking clue. Like I want to ask somebody.
Missing like a few games in that record. 9-4-1.
This is coming according to Pro Football Reference.
Pro Football Reference, you're missing a few games, man.
Oh, what
was it? 9. You're only going up to from weeks 1 to 14.
Hold up.
Pro Football Reference, what are you doing?
I must have read that wrong, but out of the way, it is really crazy, like how we've seen a lot of Hall of Fame players don't have a Super Bowl ring. Well, that's going to be. I mean, God, who's the one that comes to mind?
Randy Moss.
Yeah.
Randy Moss.
I mean, the dude who capitalized getting mossed.
Bro, he came so fucking close in 2007. Helmet catch.
Oh, yeah.
He came so close in 2007. Still didn't win a ring after that.
I mean, Larry Fitzgerald's another one that comes to mind.
Larry Fitzgerald, yes.
Which that's still mind-boggling, crazy that I'm sorry, but he should have deserved a ring for that.
Do you know?
I mean, the dude was a consistent with that.
One player that also kind of like still, bugs me that he never won a ring.
Shoot.
It was for us. It was Djax.
Yeah,
we got him. We got him in 2008. We got close to going to the Super Bowl in 2008. Didn't make it. The whole debacle after 2013. He comes back.
Oh yeah.
2 years after we did win it. It was just like, if he was here for 2017,
I think he would have gotten a ring.
He would have gotten a ring. He would have gotten a ring there. But he was 2 years late because he came back in 2019.
Yeah, but
got hurt week 1.
Well, besides that. So we're going to go over right now the Washington Commanders. As we said, when you look at this team from a roster construction, Jaden Daniels, well, that remains to be seen of how he can translate from college to the pro level. What worries me about with Washington is their old goddamn offensive line.
That's been a down point. Sam Howell got sacked a lot last year.
And I thought he was going to have to take more. Boy, he was actually. What's funny enough about Sam Howell, because we talked about this on multiple occasions, and a lot of football fans were talking about this. Howell, I think the last couple of years had been on pace to be sacked more times than David fucking Carr.
Like, dude, he was on pace for that.
I was like,
because of that offensive line. That offensive line was so bad last year. That's so bad. And that's still a question mark, like you said. The thing is, though, we're only in.
I think so far
we're like late May into June. Okay, there's still quite a bit of time before preseason, before the season starts. Yes, in July and stuff, you have OTAs. But, like, you have OTAs training camp. But here's the thing. They got time to get players.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how anybody fucking get
65 times in one season. 65 times.
Now, I will say, I think Sam Howell right now getting traded to Seattle, I think he's probably in a better situation than Washington. I mean, you do have DK, Tyler Lockett. I want to see more out of Njigba because he's been kind of I think his rookie season was kind of a little bit disappointing. But
yeah, last year it was a slight disappointment for Njigba. It was a slight disappointment for sure.
Now, looking at the Ross, I mean, and according to ESPN and looking at their depth chart, obviously they have Jaden Daniels currently as the QB1 with Austin Eckler. How much does he left have on the tires? Because I know Jake has had his issues with Eckler. Solid wide receiver duo in McLaurin and Dotson. McCaffrey.
I'm really liking the McLaurin Dotson tandem. So last year they were really good. Last year, McLaurin and Dotson.
And then your wide receiver 3, according for Washington, is Christian McCaffrey's brother Luke.
See, I want to see what he does here because in the college, I didn't really see his games that much. So I don't know how well he played. But I want to see more of what he can do in the pros. Like I want to see a lot
100%.
More. If he's got good hands, if he can run routes with some elite precision and
really
speed,
good in the slot.
If he's good in the slot, then you got a good.
Just good lord! I mean, Washington. God, Washington.
You got a good trio. You got a good core.
Yeah, which is God. When was the last time Washington ever had what? Since good lord, since Santana. Good lord, how God? Old enough to remember. Santana Moss. I think we're old enough to remember him. Jesus Christ.
That was like when we were like early teenagers.
Gosh, that was our preteens. What the fuck? Yeah, that
was like 2010.
Now, I will say the one weak point I see on the defense is Emmanuel Forbes. And speaking of which, look how small this motherfucker is. Look, they said he's brought 14.
Dude, Rob, you really had to fucking put the picture up and bully this man? Damn, I'm kidding.
No, literally, this was going around on social media.
What's his position?
He's a cornerback.
That size?
Mm-hmm. The dude is standing at 6 feet.
There's no way in hell.
Tyler, he's standing at 6 feet tall, 180 pounds.
Unless this man has elite hops.
I'm sorry, but the dude got. Let's be real. The dude got shit. He got teabagged all.
Who the hell are you covering if you're not going to try to moss the receiver?
I mean, shoot, the dude had to go up against AJ Brown twice last season,
and he got
torched. How badly that turned. The dude got fucking teabagged.
Because guess what? You're a short shit, and fucking AJ's not.
And they're saying like he
That's
put on
like me
14
trying to
pounds.
freaking guard AJ. That's not gonna work.
Are you sure? But the dude's like a 180 pounds soaking wet. I'm sorry, but
He's 180 pounds lean and he's short. There's no way.
And I'm sorry, but for a guy of his size, I don't think that body size is going to hold up as a cornerback. I'm sorry, but that Roy was concerned. If you're a commander, that's probably what your concern is.
Yeah, that should be where your concern is. Like he's 180 pounds, soaking wet. He's 180 pounds flat. Okay, so he's on the skinnier side. But he's short.
But outside of that, I mean, you have Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Dorrance Armstrong right now as your. In terms of your front seven, you have Fowler Jr., Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, who I know he made his feelings known last season. They said, "Yeah, we fucking saw it." I think that's what he said. What I'm paraphrasing.
He's like, "I'm tired of this shit."
I was like, "Oh."
I'm like, damn.
I mean, when you're playing for a guy like fucking Washington, I mean, Bobby Wagner, I think he's
bullshit. I'm like, yeah,
I think he's getting better with age. Frankie Louvu, for a guy that spent his time with Carolina, solid linebacker.
Yeah.
Jamin Davis, I'm not entirely sure on him. Jeremy Chin, I know how good he can be. Percy Butler and Benjamin St. Juste. Well, he's another guy who got fucking torched last season. And I know a lot of Commanders fans were fucking pissed at him. And
he was
so
the
right now, my only
he was the embodiment, Rob, of burnt fucking toast.
Yeah, so when you look at this Washington defense away from the corners, that's a decent defense.
They just
because the corners, the secondary is where my problem lies with Washington.
They just got to get better corners, man. That's what they need to do.
Or at least tell Forbes to bulk up and actually put on the more few pound.
Hold on, but Forbes is too fucking small. Okay.
And St. Juste, let's take a look at him.
St. Juste, he's just ass.
Yeah, for a guy that's for a guy that's 6'3", 200 pounds, which is actually pretty decent for.
That's a good size for a corner, and you're still getting burnt. You're still getting beat over the top. Come on. I expect like Forbes. I can see your disdain, or not disdain, but like your criticisms over the guy because he's short. So that means a lot of the deep balls over the top, he ain't gonna be able to get to.
And Commanders fans, and especially Tyler, have you seen what AJ looks like nowadays? AJ Brown, he's going to school. Yeah,
he's
good luck with that, Emmanuel. Good luck with that, Forbes.
Good luck
with that.
God, that's shit. Kidding me?
But
so not only will you probably get mossed by the guy, he's got power now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
Oh, that's just going to be flat out embarrassing.
You got speed, power, and hops for the birds. No. That's scary. That is.
But that all being said, jokes aside, but I do think there's slight potential with Washington, but I still think for me, I have them finishing third in the division.
What would their record be? Like, would you
say 7? Oh God,
would you say like 7-10 is respectable?
That's their ceiling. Their floor is 5-12.
Okay, I was about to say because with those criticisms and then finishing third, I would say 7-10 is like third.
Because Washington is one of those teams that like they're not exactly good, but they're not entirely terrible. Like they're right in the middle of the pack.
You can grow off of this. I think,
and they have a tendency to let's play spoiler. For those who are trying to make the postseason.
Yeah, like at the end of the season, if you're like you have a respect, you're one of those teams that could spoil the hell out of teams.
And normal guys say he said possibly
6 is also respectable.
It's hard. Funny enough, because I saw this too. Like I saw from like Pro Football Network, pretty much talk about most of the wins we're going to see out of Washington is 2 wins.
I don't know. No, I don't see.
That's like that is way too fucking low.
Here's the thing: they're bad.
I don't think they're not going to be Carolina bad.
You know who I see that will probably get like 2 wins?
Probably Carolina.
I was going to say them because they don't.
That's being fucking generous to them.
if you look
Not
at,
even that.
hold on. If you look at Washington's roster, they got something there. You see it.
Exactly.
They got a good receiving core. They've got good linebackers. All they're really missing is corners and an offensive line.
And we're going to see how Jaden Daniel fares in his first NFL action. So that's another big question mark with them.
Yeah, exactly. And if Jaden Daniels is as good as as advertised,
then they got themselves a God since Kirk Cousins.
So combine good quarterback play, good receivers, decent linebackers, not that great of a cornerback room, not that great of an offensive line. I see them going 7-10 at the most. I don't see them losing. I don't see them losing so many damn games. I don't see them only winning 2 games. That's unrealistic.
I mean, the most I can see them can lose in a single season is 12.
5-12. That's also decent. Their floor is 5-12. Their ceiling is
7-10.
But if they overachieve a little bit, I can also see 8 wins.
Yeah, I was about to mention that.
If they overachieve a bit, I could see 8-9.
Yeah, and barely miss the playoffs.
Yeah, they're not that bad.
It's just
and this is us speaking.
Yeah, okay? I mean we have a lot of
Eagles fans saying that.
Yeah, but looking at their schedule though, we are kicking off the 2024 season. So let's get right into their schedule a little bit. They're kicking off on the road at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's a bit dicey because last year we saw the resurgence of Baker Mayfield, kicked our ass in the playoffs.
Even though let's be real, we saw
we saw that was gonna happen from a mile away, like a few games away. But anyway, but we saw the resurgence of Baker Mayfield, so Baker's gonna be playing well.
And they just re-signed Antoine Winfield Jr. to a big extension, so they brought him back.
Yes. So they got their core pieces back. They got their core pieces back. So I kind of see this one as an L for Washington. It's going to be a close L, but
I was about to say that's a close. Actually, this might come down to a game-winning field goal. That's how close I can see that.
Yeah, I can either you have Washington eking out a field goal.
No, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I can see Tampa Bay eking out a last
because I feel like what's going to happen is Washington for me, and especially over the years, have been known to be very pesky defensively, and offensively they have. I don't know. And
I kind of see this game going. I see this game going like how you're going to go for it, but my score prediction will probably be 27-24.
That's how I see it.
27-24, late second field goal, and Tampa Bay wins that one.
And I would say I think Jaden Daniels might get us a couple touchdowns and maybe 1 or 2 picks.
I'd probably say a pick. I wouldn't say a couple. I'd say maybe like 1 pick. But he will have 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns to show for it.
Well, week 2. So normal guy said he has Bucks taking this one 27-21.
That's
so it could be a
6-point score too. That's a respectful score too. A 6-point win.
It's going to be one score or less.
For me, even though Washington loses this one in a close affair, that's a win in my book. If you're a Washington fan,
and that depends if
y'all were competitive.
Well, competitive is one. If Jaden Daniels also shows he can be, I mean, the fact you draft him in the 2nd overall, in the draft, but if he comes out as advertised, I mean, and granted, yes, there's going to be rookie struggles, but which team doesn't go through that? So that's
they're making mistakes. It happens.
So week 2, they got the first divisional matchup. They are home against the Giants.
Win.
And no one helped.
Daniel Jones isn't the guy for the Giants. I hate to say it, he's not it. He had
It's
that fluky season 2 years ago. I'm not really a Daniel Jones guy. He's not that great. So I'm gonna give this a win for Washington.
so far that's 1-1 through the first 2 games.
Yes.
Week 3, oh good lord.
What?
Well, can we just talk this up for a big fucking now? Because they got Monday night against the Bengals.
No. This is gonna be. I feel like this is also gonna be a close loss. Yeah,
Well, that
I know the
depends.
Bengals. I know the Bengals defense is super good, and Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow. He'll do Joe Burrow things, but this is gonna be a close one.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a blowout. I might give this. I might say this might be 34-20.
Yeah.
It'll be two
But then
scores, but
again,
it's
every
not gonna
time
be
we.
like a full on annihilation of Washington.
Well, then again, anything can happen in the NFL.
It could. Anything can happen, but
But I will agree with that. But if it turns out to be a blowout, then yeah, that would be well, that depends on if Joe Burrow's fully healthy. That's the biggest key.
yeah,
And
because the whole leg injury thing and
oh well,
that
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 also
that
he's
freak
coming off
that
wrist
freak
surgery
arm
too.
injury too. That freak arm injury when all he did was he was just practicing throws on the sideline and he fucked up his arm.
And
That's also respectable.
27-17
27-17.
Bengals, that's a possibility. Week 4, this could be a toss up for Washington. They're going on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. Who,
It's not a toss
well,
up. That is not a toss up. That's a win for Washington. Because
I mean,
again, what does Arizona really have?
and that is
Let's face it. They fired the coach. That roster's been gutted.
yeah.
So I'm gonna have to give this one for
To
Washington.
Washington, but
That's
it'd be
2-2.
funny if somehow Washington drops this against the Cardinals. That would be funny. But realistically, I do think this is going to be a win. So so far that is 2-2. So through the first 4 games for Washington.
And also, Rob,
Week
refrain yourself from being biased. By the way, I hear yourself trying to be biased a little bit.
No,
Refrain
week
yourself from
5.
being biased.
Nah, I'm really concerned for Washington in week 5.
But
They got Cleveland in week 5.
the way that defense has
Yeah,
been
that
playing,
defense.
that the elite defense, the offense, I don't know.
That remains to be seen.
I don't know if Deshaun Watson is old Deshaun Watson and he's healthy and they play great. I this might be a blowout.
Because also the thing is too, if Deshaun Watson can stay healthy, you're also getting Nick Chubb. That's Jesus, man, that fucking knee injury.
Yeah, I think
Jeez.
if they got a team there, so I feel like
Amari Cooper's your consistent. He's been your consistent number 1. Even though it's kind of funny that how that fact that
I feel like that will be a blowout. That one will. What would the score be? I think it'd be 35-17.
I was thinking 30, at least 35-17, or if that defense, well, knowing how good that Browns defense is, I would say 35-10 for that matter.
I was thinking the same thing, either 35-10 or 35-17.
Because it's going to get ugly.
Yeah, it's not going to be close. Sorry, Washington fans. That's the one. That one.
Unless Washington somehow surprises us and it gets very competitive with the Cleveland Browns. That would be my biggest surprise.
If they are very competitive with Cleveland, that'd be great for Washington and the fans, because it's like, we hung in there with one of the best teams. But I don't know, man.
Remains to be seen. But Cleveland takes this
might be a
one.
blowout. I don't know.
So that is 2-3.
2-3. Yep.
Oh Jesus! This is not. It's week 6. It's not going to get any easier, anyways. They're on the road against Baltimore, and they also
Baltimore can get very iffy though.
Yeah, Baltimore's very streaky.
They can get very iffy at times. So this one's going to be close. But
I'm still taking Baltimore.
But again, this is a close loss for
That's
Washington.
so that's
So 2-4. 2-4
2
to
and
start the
4.
season. 2-4. Yep.
Week 7. Okay, so from week 7 through 9, it's a bit of I would say it's slight of an easy schedule. Week 7, they got a 4:05 kickoff time against the Carolina Panthers at home.
Oh, easy dub. Easy dub.
Yeah, but
That's a
unless we
blowout
fucking
win. That is a blowout win
unless,
for Washington.
but at the same time too, we also can laugh at them if they somehow lose to the Carolina
Again, Rob,
Panthers.
refrain yourself from being biased.
But
Refrain yourself.
yeah. So that's what 3 and 4 through the first 7 games.
3 and 4 through the
It's
first 7.
respectable.
Yep.
Week 8, it really depends on how Chicago. They're on a back-to-back home game stretch with Chicago coming into town.
This depends on Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
This also depends on that offensive line, which is still depleted for Chicago.
Yeah, that's
So, but I do think this is a toss.
So far, it's battle. Like whose offensive line is worse?
This is a toss-up for me. Like,
if the offensive line somehow holds up for Chicago, I'm taking Chicago.
If the offensive line shows up for
don't.
Chicago, then yeah. If the offensive line shows up for Washington, they take it.
I don't know.
I might just have to give this one a TBD.
This is a to be determined.
To be determined here.
Because it's like who's going to win in the who wants them more in the trenches, especially with Chicago and Washington.
Yeah.
Then in week 9, they are traveling to that crappy stadium that is MetLife Stadium. Against the Giants.
Players are going to get banged up, and it's going to be ugly.
It's going to be one ugly game.
I still think it's going to be close, but it's going to be one of those ugly close games because everybody's going to get freaking hurt because of that turf. They need to get rid of that damn turf.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
I'm still going to give it to Washington. I think they're going to be sweep the Giants. Because I just don't think because the Giants lost a lot of key pieces. I mean, Saquon's lost.
They lost so many pieces.
I mean, I like Malik Neighbors with the Giants, but you got a crappy QB to throw him the football. I mean, you don't have Saquon anymore. You're lost some key defensive pieces. It's not going to be. And we'll get to the Giants after the because that's going to be their next on the list. Week 10. Oh, this is a bit of a tough one. On paper, again, and they are hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers, and well, that really depends. Like, are we going to get Russell Wilson or Justin Fields by this point in time?
I think we're getting Russell Wilson. We're not getting Fields because they got Russell Wilson to try to mentor Justin. In Pittsburgh. So I really think it's gonna be Russell Wilson. But now the question is, what Russell Wilson are we getting?
I was about to say, which Russell Wilson are we going to get?
Are we getting Denver Russell? Or are we getting
going to get Seattle?
See, that's the biggest question mark there. But either way,
if Pittsburgh's
I feel like Pittsburgh will win that one.
I would say, yeah, I'm going to get Pittsburgh the win with this one, depending if they do get the Seattle Russell Wilson, what Russell Wilson is known to do from the Seattle days, because, but yeah. So where are we at? I think, screw it. I think, but their only TBD is the Chicago game.
Honestly, let's give us a definitive record, because
so far we have a loss against Tampa.
I'll give it to Chicago.
I'm going to say Chicago squeaks one out.
Yeah.
Okay, so in regards, so we have a loss against Tampa that's 0-1, and they sweep the
0-1.
Giants. So that'll be 2-1. They lose to Cincinnati, depending on if last we said Burrow is healthy.
2-2.
So that's 2-2. They lose to Arizona. No, I'm sorry, they beat Arizona. I'm sorry. That's
3-2.
3. And they lose back to back between Cleveland and Baltimore.
3-4.
They beat Carolina.
4-4.
They lose. They take a really hard fought loss against Chicago.
4-5.
And they lose to Pittsburgh in week 10.
4-6. So right now, as it stands in our standings, they're 4-6.
So we got more divisional matchups for the Washington Commanders in week 11, Thursday Night Football. They're coming here to Philadelphia.
And this is where bias has to show here. Philly takes that one.
I think that's going to be a fucking blowout. That's for sure.
It's not, Rob. It's not. Because divisional games are always the toughest.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. But then again, though.
And also, Rob, you can't be biased here. This is the All-Star Sports Show. This ain't the Philly show.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it's going to be a close loss.
So what's 4-7?
4-7 now, yes.
Week 12, they got the Cowboys at home.
That's going to be a loss for them again, 4-8.
Yeah.
It's going to be a close one, but it's going to be 4-8.
But, yeah. But then again, we've seen what Dallas can do against teams like Washington. So that remains to be.
Yeah, that could also be a win. So I'd say.
Or unless somehow Dallas, somehow fumbles it and somehow loses to the Commanders. Yeah, that could be also you could throw that possible.
But as of right now,
it's Dallas taking this. So that's Dallas 4-8.
4-8.
Then they're home against Tennessee. I do think
Tennessee's depleted. They're far too depleted.
Oh yeah, they're very yeah.
And I think this is dumbasses. They were dumbasses and fired Vrabel. So it's even worse.
And we're going to see that.
And it's going to be a 5-8 record through that.
5-8 through 13 games.
5-8.
But they do have their bye week in week 14. So depending how the season plays, I mean, if they have like one or two guys, maybe a few, independent.
And Washington fans, be happy about this because at this point, they're 5-8 in our standing, in our predictions. They are still in the playoff hunt.
I think the 7th spot.
No, they're on the outside looking in. They're in the hunt.
So they're on the bubble. Okay, that makes sense.
On the bubble. They're on the bubble at 5-8. On the bubble.
Coming out of the bye in week 15, they got the New Orleans Saints at the Caesars Superdome.
Win.
You got a win. Okay, so you got like an upset win over the Saints.
Yeah, because again, Derek Carr.
Yeah, he's been kind of injury prone, and
he has been injury prone. Jameis Winston, he's Jameis Winston.
He's
gone. That's not a good thing. So yeah.
And you're paying and the Saints are paying for a guy that's not playing quarterback. So I will say this too. I think this will be a good defensive game between Washington and New Orleans.
It's gonna be one of those games where we find boring. It'd be like 9-0 through like one half.
Oh yeah.
Like it's gonna be one of those games, but I feel like I feel like Washington will take that one. Washington will take it. So we're at 6-8.
6-8. Week 16. Our Eagles are traveling to Washington. Depending. Geez, I think I could see this be a 10-point margin if everything. I mean, at worst. This would be a close L.
I would either probably give it a 24-14 or 24-17 win.
Yeah, because I can see at least a 10-point margin.
Because for Philly, that's 24. For me, I feel like it's going to be 24-17.
Okay, so
for Philly.
So that's what 6-9.
6-9, yes.
69. Sorry, I had to.
Why do you have to be 12 already?
I had to.
Damn it.
And then to finish up week 17, home against the Falcons.
Home against the Falcons. I see them winning that
Well,
one.
that really depends. Like, are we going to get Michael Penix Jr. or Kirk Cousins? That remains to be seen.
If I feel like we're getting Kirk. We're gonna get Kirk. All right, if Kirk wins, I see a loss. If Kirk is playing, I see a loss.
Yeah, and the fact he's actually coming back home to Washington, D.C.
So I see them, what, 6-10 right now?
So we're 6-10. Oh, yeah, 6-10.
All right, yeah, so we got one more game.
Oh, that's right. It's an 18-week schedule.
Yes, we got one more game to go.
And that's against Dallas in Jerry's World.
Honestly, I'm changing my prediction. From 7-10 to 6-11.
I could see that.
I didn't really see their schedule that much. I thought, 7-10, that's respectful. No, it's 6-11.
Oh yeah, in terms, yeah, they got a bit of a gauntlet in certain weeks. I will say that.
I did not see the damn gauntlet in the middle of the season and the gauntlet at the end there for a minute.
But to finish 6-11 with this type of schedule, it's a big improvement than what they had last season. I will say that.
Oh, it's a huge improvement. Still, it's a huge improvement.
But I do think.
But
so
again,
6-11, that would those will keep them outside the playoff bubble.
Yeah, they fallen off the playoff bubble in that like later part of that schedule there, because they were in the playoff bubble at 5-8, and then they just fell after that. So
yeah, because they had a bit of a gauntlet towards down the stretch.
A little bit of a gauntlet, with the Falcons and Dallas
and Philly.
Like they had a 3-game gauntlet that killed them at the end.
So now we're moving on to the New York Giants, who, good Lord, they didn't do jack shit.
No, they completely gutted the roster and didn't do anything to replace it. So it was like,
I'm going to say this too before we get into the schedule. Honestly, this could be the last year for Brian Daboll. I think Brian Daboll somehow, if the Giants don't show any signs of life, I think Daboll's out of there.
I feel like that's a piss poor move because he's a scapegoat.
Well, I'm not saying
that you think the guy sucks. I'm just saying that's a scapegoat move.
Yeah, that's how I can see the Giants doing that.
Yeah, because the Giants are dumb when it comes to roster construction and keeping their coaches.
Besides that, so the Giants, they open up the 2024 season home against the Vikings. The Vikings are an interesting case with them. It really depends. This has also come to the fact that depends if they're going to give Justin Jefferson his contract, because we're seeing how much wide receivers are getting paid. Because good Lord, let's just say if Vikings are not going to pay Justin Jefferson, that's going to be really rough for Minnesota. But I do think they're going to get it done. Hopefully.
Yeah, they'll get it done. I wouldn't,
because there's no goddamn way that you have two or three 1,000-yard receiver. Hell, the fact that dude almost had a 2,000-yard season in his rookie year.
Yeah, he damn near broke the fucking the thing. So it was like, but yeah,
this
situation's a bit rocky.
Yeah, this is going to be very rocky for the Giants this year. But I do have Minnesota taking this.
I have.
Oh, God, I would say what? Because I know the defense. I think they got a little bit better on defense. I know that for a fact. For Minnesota, that is because
Giants.
Minnesota.
Yeah, they got better on the defense side of the ball. So, and if Daniel Jones plays like Daniel Jones,
well,
I don't see this one being pretty.
No, it's not going to be pretty.
I don't see this one being pretty.
And speaking of, good. Oh, while we're on the Giants, Good Lord. I wonder what. Let's see. According to their depth chart, their backup is Drew Lock. Oh, jeez. Drew
Oh
Lock.
yeah, season's over. Season's over.
Yeah,
Yep.
when I'm looking. Jesus Christ, that
Before the
quarterback room is
season
god
even starts,
awful.
the season's over for fucking the Giants. Because you got Daniel Jones, you can't throw for shit. You got Drew Lock.
And
Even though we can't speak on Drew Lock because he beat us.
yeah, that's true.
But that was because of our piss poor defense last year. So,
But that remains to be seen. But yeah, Minnesota's taking this one, obviously by a wide margin. If everything goes wrong for the Giants.
if everything goes wrong for the Giants, we might see another 40-0 shellacking.
Well,
week 1. We might see it again.
Never going to sit through that again.
We sat through one half and turned that bitch off.
Why? Like, here, look, roast me, because that was my goddamn idea.
Roast me for hopping on that shit.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. Roast both of us for that, because that was fucking. That was just torture.
We just torch us. Okay, it's torture.
Week 2, they are traveling to Landover, Maryland, to take on the Commanders. As we said before, with the Commanders, I do see this. What, by 2 scores at most for Washington?
So that's 0-2. That's an 0-2 start.
Oh my God! Week 3, they got Cleveland. Giants got Cleveland in Cleveland.
0-3.
Jesus.
0-3.
Well, week 4, we don't know where this is going to go again. They got Dallas on prime time.
0-4.
How much you want to bet that's going to be at least 46-0?
Do not watch it. Do not watch it, y'all. I warn you. Do not watch that.
Week 5, they got Seattle.
So
in
Seattle. If we get Geno from like 2 years ago, that's 0-5.
Yeah. So I would say that's an 0-5 start.
Yep. Not looking good for the Giants.
Jesus. Week 6, they got the Bengals on prime time. Week 7, they got us and Phil at home, in their own territory, in their own building. Jesus. Look, we're not trying to be biased, but when you look at their schedule, Jesus Christ.
It's a gauntlet. It's a straight up gauntlet.
Week 8, they got Pittsburgh.
0-8.
Washington again in week 9.
Okay, they might split here. But then again, no, it's 0. No, they're still winless. Winless.
Because I think Washington has a much better roster than the Giants.
Yeah, they do. So yeah.
Week 10, I think this is the Giants finally squeak out a win. Unless everything goes to shit. And that's against Carolina.
1-9. Yeah, 1-9. Start season.
Or possibly 0-10 to somehow shit the bed.
No bias here. Carolina is shittier still.
Oh yeah, that's actually a good point. And they go into the bye week 1-9 through 10. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, terrible.
Jeez, it's rough.
Fans are forgetting that playoffs. Like,
oh my God! And going in the second half of the schedule, week 12, they got Tampa Bay at home.
1-10. 1-10.
And they got Dallas going into Jerry's world. That's 1-11.
1-11, yeah.
So week 14, they're hosting the Saints. Yeah, that's a loss.
The Saints are still better. 1-12.
Week 15, they got Baltimore. So
1-13.
That could also go 50-50 too. Like if somehow Baltimore's
no. Rush construction, Rob.
Week 16, they got the Falcons in Atlanta.
No loss.
If it's Kirk, yeah, that's a loss.
So
that's what I lost count. How many losses?
We got like 13, whatever the hell.
Because right now the only win is against Carolina. That's in week 10. So far,
like
going to the Carolina game, they're 0-9. They win in week 10. That's 1-9. Lose to Tampa Bay. That's 1-10, 1-11 against the Cowboys. 1-12 against the Saints. 1-13. Jesus Christ, 1-13.
That's what we see, dude.
I'm sorry. I'm fucking wrong. 1-14.
Yeah.
Holy.
What's next, Rob? What's next? Another game.
You got the Colts.
1-15.
And they're coming here to Philly to end the season.
1-16.
Wow.
They had, dude. They had.
I'm sorry, Giants fans. Y'all are going to have it fucking rough.
And we're not even talking from a bias standpoint. We're not.
Well, you look at this fucking roster. Yeah, have Daniel Jones is your starter. Your backup is Drew Lock. Third string, Tommy Cutlass. Oh my God, the running back room is fucking complete ass. Devin Singletary, your RB running back 1. Eric Gray, your backup. Your running back 2. Third stringers, Tyrone Tracy Jr. Who the fuck is that? Well, that should tell you. Malik Neighbors, I do think I like the fact that they actually finally have a number 1. Darius Slayton, that really depends. Can he fucking stay healthy for crying out loud? Because the last 2 years you fucked me in the goddamn fantasy football because you constantly get hurt. Wan'Dale Robinson, well, you're another one that needs to stay healthy. So there's potential with him. Waller, well, you can't trust on a guy like him. He can't even stay fucking healthy for sure.
Bro can't even keep a fucking wife.
Yeah, yeah.
You kidding me?
Jesus Christ, it's not great when you look at those Giants on a roster.
Yeah.
Now we move on to Dallas. As much as when we poke a lot of fun at Dallas on a multitude of reasons, but as we said, we're going to keep it
unbiased,
peaceful.
I don't think it's peaceful for real fucking Giants fans. I think they're wanting to attack us now after what we just said.
Then again, I know most Giants fans. Then again, they probably wouldn't.
They probably agree with us
because, I don't know. So now the Cowboys. Now this is actually kind of the biggest. There's a lot of storylines going with Dallas. Number 1, you got Dak entering his last year of his contract. There's been a lot of talks of him resetting the QB market. Good God, I hope that doesn't fucking happen. Because, good Lord. I mean, look, he's good, but can you really rely on a guy that really can't show up in the playoffs? And look, I'm not saying this because, we hate the Cowboys, but when you really look at his track record in the postseason, it ain't great. But that's here nor there. Week 1, they open up against Cleveland, and Cleveland, oh boy, that's a toss-up.
That is a toss-up. I can't even.
I'm going to give the Cowboys a slight win on this one.
Wait, Dallas?
Yes.
Yeah, I say Dallas getting a slight win. I see that.
It's not going to. It ain't going to be. Well, I would say I think it's probably going to be one of the better games we see from Dallas.
Yeah.
Not just from Dallas, but really kick off the 2024 season. Week 2, you got the Saints. They're hosting the Saints. That's 2-0 through 2. Oh, here's this. If everything goes right for Baltimore and Dallas, this should be a really good game. Baltimore and Dallas for week 3 in Jerry's world. Jesus.
I might give the slight edge to Baltimore here. I might.
Yeah. My here's the thing. My brain's telling me Baltimore, but my gut's telling me Dallas. Like 2 conflicting things.
You know what? Screw it. 3-0. 3-0 Dallas.
I see. Well, we're going to make that 4-0 because they got to take on the Giants on primetime TV.
4-0. Yep.
How much you want to bet that's going to be another 40 nothing shellacking like
probably
last year?
Shellacking, yeah.
Week 5 they got Pittsburgh.
Again,
that also depends on what Russell Wilson we're going to get.
It depends on what Russ we're getting. If we get prime Russ, I might.
That could be
say 4-1.
A sneaky good.
Say the record now is 4-1.
Okay, so 4-1 through 5 weeks. Week 6, you got they're hosting Detroit.
It depends on coaching. Who can out coach the other? Because both teams are good. But again, both coaches
They
now
somehow just
somehow are now seen as dumbasses because of a coaching decision.
Well, Mike McCarthy, we all knew he was always a dumbass from.
Guy put in fucking small ass Ezekiel Elliott as a blocker, and he got fucking dead.
Later, he has a fucking center. I'm thinking to myself, and not just a two-tire. They go to the year before that against the Niners again.
Yeah.
When the ref is supposed to touch the ball and just run the clock out.
That was fucking Dak's fault.
Yeah, well,
that was on the coach. That was on Dak.
And actually, I think,
but here, but also look at
Detroit.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord, Detroit.
Coaching costed them in the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in the NFC title game. It costed them.
And that was a very close loss too.
It was a close loss, but one bad coaching mistake happened, and they lost. So this will depend on who can outcoach the other, and I feel like it'll be the Lions that
I got the Lions. So that's 4-2 through 6 weeks,
4-2,
which is
yes,
pretty decent start.
Mm-hmm.
Then they obviously got the bye week 7, and yes, we all know the Cowboys don't. They're still stuck in their own ways because of fucking Jerry Jones.
They do. It's Jerry Jones. They don't learn. They don't.
Coming out of the bye week, they're traveling to technically Santa Clara, at Levi's to take on the Niners.
Can we not talk about technicalities of where they are in the fucking place? I don't care, dude, about that.
But they are on the road against the Niners. I'm getting the Niners on this one. That's 4-3.
4-3 through 7 weeks.
And they got week 9 against the I'm sorry. Hello.
Cowboys versus Cowboys.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they're playing against your practice squad guys.
Oh, God. I just had a mental brain stroke there. Jesus. I meant the Falcons.
Yeah, they're playing themselves.
Congratulations. You played yourselves. God, I fucking hate that.
Wait, who are they actually playing?
The Falcons in Atlanta. I got the Cowboys taking this one. That's
Cowboys.
5-3.
5-3. 5-3 through 8.
And then they're coming when the Philly is coming to Dallas. I say we drop this one.
They give us fits.
Like with some reason we just never had success there.
I might see them win here. They give us fits. We always split against them.
I mean, I would say, if I had to really guess, I would say by a 10-point affair. But if it all goes wrong for Philly, well, it could be worse because we kind of see the last couple of years. So that remains to be seen.
I don't think it's going to be a 10-point affair. I think it might be 7 points.
Yeah, that could be. So that's what? 6-3, 9 games?
6-3 through 9.
Week 11 is Battle of Texas. You got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Houston Texans.
Well, considering the juggernaut that they have become, I'm giving it to the Texans.
I think Texas, going Texas. So that's what 6-4 through 10, which decent start. Week 12, they got the Commanders. I think they're going to be the team.
That should be a win for Dallas.
Yeah, that's going to be a road game, and then week 13, they got the Giants again. Jesus, if they go back to back, oh my God. I'm going to feel bad for Giants fans if they're going to have this. No, because Tara, you thought that last year was 40-0 was bad. Could you imagine that Dallas did it twice this season?
So you have them beating them in a total of 80-0 in 2 games versus the Giants.
Maybe fucking 90-0 at that point.
So
the Giants are straight up fucking.
Could be 40. So you mean to tell me one of those games could be 40-0, the next could be 50-0?
Yeah, at least a 50 burger. I can call that right then and there.
Damn.
Well, I'm sorry, Giants fans. Look, I want to give you guys optimism, but I can't. There's no. I'm sorry, but it's just I can't give you guys optimism. It
I don't
really,
think they want to give themselves optimism
yeah, that's
after
true.
last year.
I mean, God rest her, Jeffy. Jesus,
Yeah.
it's
Still sucks. Dude, that still fucking pains me, that death, bro.
yeah. But week 14, so that's what 10? Or I'm sorry, that's what 8-4.
8-4. Yes.
Then they have a Monday night game against the Bengals. Should be a good one on paper if everything goes.
I think they'll be 8-5. They'll be 8-5 here.
Okay, so you give them a loss on this one? Yeah,
I'll
eight
give them
and
a loss.
five.
They'll be 8-5.
Well, here's going to be another blowout. I think it's the Carolina Panthers in week 15.
Yeah, that's an easy dub. So they'll be 9-5.
So 9-5 through 14. Week 16, they got the Bucks at home.
Win.
I'll say that's a slight win for them.
It's a close win, but it's a win. So,
Yeah,
so they're
win's a
9-6.
win. So 9-6. Then they come to Philly in week 17.
That's where they lose here. Because
Which
they won the first matchup. This is where they lose.
Hopefully this time it's not by a toe.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, by a single.
I'm sorry, but that's
toe
just funny to me.
Freaking white.
But yeah, so that's what 9-6,
9-7.
Oh, 9 oh. And last week 18, they got Washington. I think that's going to be a win. So 10-7.
So they finish off the season at 10-7.
So that should be very interesting. But last, certainly at least, we got our Birds.
Yes.
Skip all the preseason bullshit. But obviously we open up against Green Bay on Peacock, in Brazil.
Oh, excuse me.
God bless you.
I think it's gonna be. I think that one's gonna be a dub for Philly, because
it's gonna be a close one. I know that for a fact. Because I will respect the Pack.
It'll be close because they Green Bay does have somewhat of a team there, but it all depends on how Jordan Love plays.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's decent, but he's not there yet. So I feel like that's going to be.
I mean, he's shown he's capable to be the next franchise guy.
He is capable, but he's not there yet. So I feel like that's going to be the game.
Absolutely.
For Philly. It's going to be so it's a 1-0 start for Philly.
Week 2, they're home against the Falcons.
We start to,
and it's a primetime game too. That's a win.
Kirk Cousins in prime time. Yeah, that's a win. 2-0.
2-0 to start.
Week
3, we traveled to New Orleans to take on the Saints.
3-0.
That could be a very interesting game in its own right on paper.
On paper, yeah, but on the field, there's lots to be desired for Saints. There's a lot to be desired from them.
I mean, look, the positive I have for the Saints is their defense. They've always been a very good defensive team.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of.
Like, what the hell has Derek Carr been doing?
What's going on? What's going on, Pete?
I feel
Carr's one of those guys. It's like you really can't. It's like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. Sorry, I had to pull a Forrest Gump line.
You're either going to get meh or terrible. You're never going to get good with Derek Carr. It's either meh or terrible.
But I still think this is going to be a close win, regardless. So that's 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0. 3-0 start.
Goody. Week 4, we're gonna have We're gonna have Vietnam flashbacks. We're traveling to Tampa to take on the Bucks.
Hopefully, I'm not saying end my misery at halftime this time around.
I've already ended my misery at halftime last year with a bottle of alcohol. So,
bro, I didn't even have alcohol. I was just like, end my misery right now.
Now that rolls for Roy and as we too, not just the Bucks brought back Winfield, They still got to play Tristan Wirfs and whatnot, but they did lose some key pieces on that defense, so that could be
But we
interesting.
also gained back a piece that we had lost 2 seasons ago in CJ.
Jimmy Gardner-Johnson. Yeah,
Yep.
that's a good point too. And the fact that this
So now you have that safety help that you were lacking in the playoffs last year. You have that safety help.
100%.
So I feel like it's going to be a close win for Philly.
Okay, I got that. And then we have our week 5. Jesus Christ! I can we have our bye week a little bit later? If we have our bye week at week 5.
That'll mess up the flow. That'll mess up the flow, man.
Jesus Christ! It seems like our entire division's got to play fucking Cleveland this year. What the fuck? But we are hosting Cleveland at the link on week 6.
If our defense plays well as advertised, and if their defense plays well as advertised, this is going to be a low scoring game.
Honestly, this might be a fucking 3-point affair. The way as Sarah puts it,
I would
like
17-14.
Yeah, that's why I can see it.
I see a 17.
And there's no wrong with having good because we have seen some great defensive games over the years.
And this might be a loss.
It could be a winner.
It could be a win. But
this could be a fucking goddamn coin flip for all I care.
I'm gonna give this one to Cleveland because I don't know, man.
Well, and also, Tyler, you mentioned this a bit too. Like, it depends. Like, is Deshaun Watson going to be healthy by the time?
Yeah, that point is valid here. But I'm still going to give it to Cleveland, though.
Yeah, I'm going to give this to Cleveland too. That's what 4-1.
4-1 through 6 weeks.
Yeah, through 6 weeks. Week 7, we got the Giants at MetLife.
Blow up win. Chalk it up.
Let's just hope nobody gets fucking hurt too. Let's just fingers crossed on that.
But if everybody under the sun gets hurt again,
this might be
close. This might be since this is at MetLife. I'm not going to be like, oh, blowout win. It's going to be close. I can't lie.
Yeah,
it's going to be close.
But people, I mean, then again,
because that turf is shitty.
It's just ass. But we do travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals.
That's a loss.
So that's what
Joe Burrow
5-2.
Joe Burrow was Joe Burrow.
Then I was going to say this too, though. Like, what happened? Like, another thing too. My biggest criticism with them is their offensive line. Like, what are their offensive line can't hold up? What Vic Fangio is going to get?
Again, look what happened to us. We lost Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, that's true.
So we don't have a pass rush.
I mean, you got Bryce. I mean, brought in Bryce Hoff, who's a little bit better. Well, slightly.
I don't know. I'm still going to give this one to the Bengals here.
It's going to be a close loss. I know that for a fact.
It'll be a close loss.
So that's 5-2 through 8 weeks. Then we host the Jacksonville Jaguars. The last time we played them, Jesus Christ.
I needed Bayer after that fucking game.
You needed Bayer and alcohol.
Shit. I need to mix them two together. That's what I need.
Even though we did kind of spoil Doug Peterson's return to Philadelphia. But
sorry, Doug. Thank you for the championship. We love you, but you had to lose.
And that's another thing too. Like, what type of Trevor Lawrence are we gonna fucking get? Because God,
are we gonna get the guy that made their season plummet? Or are we gonna get 8-2 goddamn elite
Trevor Lawrence?
For
your answer, and we don't know.
As a Clemson fan,
it pains me. Pains us actually.
Me to see that happen last year. It did. It pained me. I'm like, damn.
Like, just seeing the way that the Jaguars collapsed, it's like, you idiots! You had the division in the palm of your hands and you dropped it.
And it wasn't that they dropped it. They were on like a skyscraper and they dropped it from the skyscraper, Rob.
Like, I just shook my head in embarrassment. It was like, you guys are just.
They were 8-2.
And the fact you finished 8 and 9 somehow collapsed.
They lost 7 straight and went 8-9.
Jeez,
like,
that's rough,
man.
Week 10, I think we go 6-3. How many losses we're up to this point? Because our losses is to
6-2.
Cleveland
6
6
and
and 2. Well, we're gonna have a 6-3 because we know because it's the continuous pattern of us somehow not having any some success in Jerry's world against the Cowboys. But I'm going to give it to the Cowboys this one because they always seem to play well. Then again, any team plays well at home. Well, who am I kidding? But so we're 6-3 through 10 weeks. Week 11 could be another competitive game if everything goes right for Washington. I still think this is going to be a close win that we squeak out.
I might go 7-3 here.
7-3. Yeah, we're 7-3 up to this point. Week 12, we got the Rams, so we're traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Rams.
They did have a bit of resurgence.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy because it's kind of funny. It's like,
so I'm gonna have to give it. I'd say Philly,
but not by much.
So 8-3.
Because
after that fucking game.
Yeah, that's true. Week 13. I feel like this right now for me, this is probably going to be game of the week. For me, that is. Hurts, Lamar. Fuck. I'm going to get.
Oh my god! I'm going to get heart medicine for like 2 weeks straight. Jesus Christ.
Because this is in Baltimore, might I add.
We might go 8-4 here.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this to Lamar and the Ravens.
Give it to Lamar here. We're gonna go 8-4.
Week 14. Well, we got the Panthers at home.
9-4, easy money.
Week 15. We got the Steelers. For some reason, we always own the Steelers.
Yeah, 10-4 here.
I've seen in recent memory.
10-4.
Then we got Washington week 16. This time we're traveling to Landover. Still kind of really weird to say. I'm still going to give us this one, and it's not going to. I was going to be. I think it's going to be like at least a 1-score game. The way how I'm picturing this in my head.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to us. This game.
Week 17. So what? We are 10. What? 11-4. 11-4.
Mm-hmm.
And Dallas at home and at the Link. Well, we know how that really good. Well,
11-5. We're not 11-5.
That's what I was saying. 11-5. What are you smoking?
I don't know what I fucking smoke.
Dude, I want to know what you're fucking smoking. I want some of that.
12-4, Rob.
12-4. There you go.
12-4.
And then we ended off back at the Link against the Giants.
13-4. So we end off basically the same record as last year.
Yeah.
13-4.
Because it's like, because it's kind of funny because I've seen like, God damn, my nose itches. That probably the best record prediction that I've seen, or I would say our ceiling's 13-4, and our floor is like 12-5, 11-6, somewhere around there. If everything goes
11-6 is the floor. Probably even 10-7 is the floor.
But we got a few more other things because we don't want to keep you guys around. But baseball fans, we're finally fucking free.
Oh, thank fucking God.
Jesus.
Angel Hernandez is gone, folks.
Retired. Jesus Christ.
Goodbye, blind ass.
But it's not like a forced retirement, but it was like a mutual agreement from my understanding. Just because
I look back at that whole thing. They were talking about his performances. It basically was a forced retirement.
Yeah.
Because the umpiring, whatever the fuck you want to call it, committee or whatever.
Oh, the union.
The union wanted him around. The MLB wanted his ass to go, but they couldn't let him go because of the union.
Yeah, because, I mean,
So they basically did a workaround. He was forced to retire. It's over.
But outside of that, I mean, now we're down like to a couple other bad umpires, and that is CB Buckner and a few others that, but not as. Thank God.
What was the one that was yelling at? Who was the one that was yelling at fucking Aaron Boone for saying something when he didn't say shit?
I have no idea.
Cause
Honestly, I
that
felt
that
very
guy needs to
fucking
fucking go
stupid.
too. That guy needs to fucking go too with his soft ass.
But so far we've seen some. I would say this year has been very interesting in the years for baseball. We're seeing teams that we knew were going to be good. Some really kind of unexpected. I mean, and take a look at the power rankings. This was put out earlier this morning around 7 a.m. Guess who's still number one?
We are bitches. Woo.
At 39-18.
But they didn't play anybody. Shut up.
So the Phillies have soared to the best record in the National League and put themselves on pace for the best season in franchise history, thanks to the best offense in the NL. If you can get fucking Nick to get his head out of his ass, that's a whole other thing. And an out of this world start from Ranger Suarez, who has outpitched Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, which that's kind of very.
Can we talk about somebody that's absolutely fucking shocked me this year?
Yeah, that's
Kyle freaking Schwarber. What are you
that
on this year? Like, bro, you're playing small ball and shit now?
And even though the fucking dude runs like fucking Ted in the
My turn, asshole. Sorry.
I mean, shoot. Looking at the hold up. Let's take a look at. I mean, so far, 39-18. And Schwarber, so far, 246, 369 on base, 425 slugging. That's actually fine for a chance to actually put up a positive WAR, like 1.2 WAR. Shockingly,
yeah. But here's my thing. Now, for the people that were complaining, oh, season's over, we had the losing record out west. Yes, we do. But you're saying the season's over just by that?
I just started
Get
saying
fucking real, idiots.
because it's like, yeah, I mean, it just seems like us and the West Coast, like we're like somehow cursed on the West Coast. Anywhere else we play, like we have no issues.
Like, but the thing is though, these idiots think the season is over.
I mean,
because
technically, true, but at the same time, too, there are a bunch of crack smoking idiots, and it's kind of funny.
Idiots. They're fucking idiots. Like you're telling me, oh, season's over.
And it's kind of funny when you look. I'm looking at some of the wins that we got. Look, we've always owned. Well, technically, the men usually always owns us the last few years. But in terms of this current season, we somehow always do play well against the San Francisco Giants. I don't think they're a shell of what they once were, but that's here nor there. But going back to the power rankings, because obviously Philly still at 1. I'm actually kind of not surprised. The Yankees are number 2 because before they were at number 3. I will say this too, not because of the offense. Their pitch has been very solid without Cole, which is kind of surprising.
That entire rotation.
Louis Hill, though, I want to talk about that fucking kid for a minute. The fact that dude as a rookie, put up 14 Ks in one start he's put up.
Bro, like I was saying, though, that whole rotation has a sub-4 ERA. Minus Cole, who's not even there.
And combined for the overall season for the Yankees, they have a 2.73 team ERA starting but for Louis Hill, though, in his 6 May starts, has recorded a .70 ERA with 44 strikeouts. Yeah. Dodgers at 3. That's kind of to be expected because but
I
I
feel
would
like they
say,
hit a little bit of a lull because when I was watching the game, they were like in the midst of like a losing streak a little bit, but they've won again, so it was just like
I mean, they
you
did get
know
swept by the Reds, who, yeah, just the Reds for some reason they always have this little bit of hype, and they just somehow completely fall off.
like every, but here's the thing though, it's like when you look at them on paper, they should be better than what they are.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They should be better than what they are, and the reason why they had so much hype is that you had that going into the season, you had so many young, skilled players who were good the previous season. They've fallen off.
I mean, Carson Strand hasn't really been doing that well. I mean,
Completely
Frank and
fell off.
Montas. I mean, he's been around the league been around the block more than a few times. He has been a hard time staying healthy. I like Hunter Green. He's been pretty decent. Everybody else, from what I've been hearing from a lot of Reds fans, it's been kind of very disappointing. From what I've been seeing from a lot of among Reds fans.
And it has been disappointing.
And it
It's
stinks,
just
man, because
been
I want to see this team fucking succeed. Because the last time I seen this team ever had any success was 2013 when they had a prime Johnny Cueto. I think that they had who else? They had a lot of guys still in their
you had
prime
Johnny
years,
Cueto, you had Joey Votto,
which is still kind of unbelievable that he's gone.
yeah, he's just not on the team anymore. I
Oh,
forget who else is on that fucking team. I know Johnny Cueto, like you said, and Joey Votto. That's it.
let me.
Oh, you had Castellanos there too.
Oh yeah,
He was there.
yeah, when it actually was
He's still good, Rob.
yeah, the only time when someone fucking dies.
Rob, he's still good. Rob, he is still good.
And it's kind of funny too. They actually had a really pretty decent record at that time when Dusty Baker. I'm finally happy with the dude. He finally gets the ring. Yeah, against fucking us. I'm still kind of a little bit bitter about that, but I'm still kind of happy.
A little salty, but I was happy for the guy. Kind of pissed off we didn't win the World Series.
Oh, Todd Frazier. Who kind of forgot about another Jersey kid?
Yo, Todd Frazier. I forgot.
I'm sorry, but Todd Frazier actually was pretty under.
I forgot about Todd
Zach Cozart. Hey, now he's become pretty.
Cozart was good.
He was okay. Brandon Phillips. Dude.
That fucking pesky bastard.
That too, and the most funniest moment from him was the backside when someone slid into his backside and into his right. I'm sorry, that's one of the funniest moments that I've seen. Also, probably the most luckiest dude on the fucking planet, for that matter. I'm going to keep it at that.
I hate you for taking Jade Cargill away from us.
Hate you. Sin Soo Choo, I'm sorry, but I kind of remember his better years at the Indies at the time, and also the Texas Ranger. Jay Bruce, good lord, he
was good. He was even somewhat good for us. Forgot that he even played on the team until somebody reminded me.
Yeah, no, that's how long some of those forgettable Phillies teams were over the years.
I'm like, wait a minute. I forgot Jay Bruce played for us. He played in 2019. We were like
Johnny Cueto. I mean, most of the rotation. Actually, speaking of the rotation, though, they had Matt Latos, Homer Bailey, Bronson Arroyo, who's probably was fucking awkward as shit, but it was fun to watch. Mike Lee, Tony Cingrani, and Johnny Cueto. That was pretty much your starters. Obviously, you still had Aroldis Chapman in his prime before he kind of just kind of felt. Everybody else it's just like who? I mean, Manny Parra, Sam LeCure. I don't know. Besides that, going to number 4, I think there's. You got the Baltimore Orioles. I know they had a bit. I think they kind of hit a little bit snagged. I think the last few games or so.
They hit a bit of a snag. They went on this losing streak where they fell out of the division. They're in second now, but yeah, they're kind of they fell off a little bit, and they've kind of gotten back to swing.
And honestly, the only thing that's kind of holding them back a little bit is they're back into the bullpen because they're brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, the back end of the bullpen's been pretty shit. That's not gonna lie there. I'm not gonna lie there.
I mean, shit. I mean, if I have fucking camera closing game for you, that will do it.
Yeah.
Number
So
5, I'm kind of intrigued on this one. The Cleveland Guardians at 37-19. Their previous ranking was 6.
but here's the thing though. If you look at their roster, you kind of expect it because like they have good young pieces.
And the fact that you have a guy like Stephen Vogt, who decent player for a while, but he never really missed a beat. And it's still kind of weird that Tito, God, Terry Francona is no longer managing. But I mean, for obvious reasons, I'm kind
He
of
retired. He thought it was time to go, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gone."
Wait a minute, Jose Ramirez still doing his thing. Even though, yes, we do poke, and yeah, I know a lot of Cubs fans still poke Cleveland after collapsing it in the World Series, blowing a 3-1 lead. After the Cavs, it's kind of funny too. After the Cavs got their championship rings,
By having another team blow a 3-1 lead, they blow a 3-1 lead. Same
yeah.
year, same damn year, 2016.
Number 6, I don't know about this one. You got the Milwaukee Brewers at 32-23, and I've seen a lot of content creators kind of talk about the Brewers, where it's like, and especially the last couple of years, where they were talking about, and I've seen a lot of Brewers fans say, if we trade haters, shit's gonna go wrong. That's not really the fucking case. That's really as surprising as it was, but somehow it really worked for Milwaukee. And obviously trading Corbin Burns, boy, that was Jesus. But it's kind of glad to see Christian Yelich back to his MVP self, because good lord, the dude was really fucking disappointing. We're just gonna go through the top 10 because I'm not gonna go through all this, because you got number 7, you got the Braves. I mean, I'm not saying it's to be expected. I would expect
kind of fell off because you lost a starting pitcher.
And Spencer Strider to an elbow injury, and now you just lost Acuna. And I'm going to say this too.
That's your big.
Honestly, I feel bad for the kid. That's his second one in the span of few.
He only had one healthy year. One.
And the argument, and I've seen a point that a lot of people were talking, and I think who was it? Someone on the network talked about this. Like the fact that this is the second ACL tear, because he had torn his torn it the first time in his other knee, and in 2021, and
Yep.
And it kind of makes me wonder, it's like, how much longer does he have it? Like,
I honestly don't know.
And the dude is electric to watch. Look, I'm going to put my fucking rivalry aside, but I've always liked watching Ronald Acuna Jr., even though kind of really painted. He's kind of that Freddie Freeman.
A lot of people do. A lot of people like Acuna.
And it's just like,
but the problem is, he just can't stay on the field. He can't.
And stinks.
And it's no fault to him. It was
just a freak fucking injury.
Shit
and
luck.
And we look at it, like he just put the brakes on to her and just tore and blew out his knee. I was like, ugh.
It's just terrible luck from Acuna, and I feel bad for the guy. I'm putting my rivalry aside too. No one should be able to even go through this. Twice, and having that many injuries and only having one healthy season in his entire four.
He's been in the league 6 years. He's been in the league 6 years, and
he's been in the league 6 years. 4 of those years, right? He was spent with the Braves, right? 4 of those years. Because I saw a thing on Facebook where it was like, within his 4-year stint in Atlanta, he's only had one healthy season.
That's very concerning.
It's super concerning. And honestly, again, putting my bias aside, this shit sucks. it sucks because like you don't want to see players have their dream ripped up away from by an injury. You don't
Yeah,
want to see it.
by freak injuries.
You don't
I
want to see it
mean,
in any sport. Like so, I feel bad for Acuna for sure.
now the biggest thing is to watch where it's like, what's the long term effects going to be? Like it's like,
He's gonna have
and
fucked
obviously,
up legs. He's gonna have fucked up legs, and I feel like if they don't, if they're, if you know that if the medical team isn't great, which that should be a cause of concern too. If he's not healthy, only for 1 year in Atlanta, the conditioning, the strength, not strength and conditioning, like they're well, yeah, part of it's conditioning, but the team doctor they need to question him because there's no way Acuna should be,
and
you
especially at
know,
26. And look,
at 26 going through that many injuries.
I mean, the dude
No.
also dealt with 2 ACL tears, also had like a back contusion in his rookie season when he came up in 2018. I mean,
Yeah, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, I feel like their team doctors should be causing the question here. Like, Acuna should not be hurt that much at his age.
or unless, I mean, you can also question Acuna, like, about his medical history, because that is another thing too. We've seen a lot of Latin players do is kind of, well, when they come
But if you
over.
see his body size, like he looks like he keeps himself up in shape.
Yeah, like the dude's in phenomenal shape, and it's like, what the
Like
hell
I
is he?
can't question Acuna much if I see a guy who's just who keeps himself in good shape.
It's
So
going to be
wait,
very
what?
interesting to see what the But number 8,
License.
going back to the MLB power
Sorry, my
ranking.
mom just showed me something that was incredibly shocking.
The
My
hell?
cousin grew up too fucking quick. I'm sorry.
But going back to the power rankings, though, number 8. This surprised a lot of people and even myself when I first read this. The Kansas City Royals at 35-22.
Again, Rob. Young team. They're hungry. They're ready to win.
I mean, Bobby Witt Jr.'s his maturation has been cool.
I want to
Has
talk
been
about their
phenomenal to
ace,
watch.
though. I want to talk about their ace for a minute. Their starting pitcher. Their
Seth
ace.
Lugo?
Not Lugo. The rookie.
Oh, Cole Reagans? That kid?
Cole Reagans.
I don't know what they're doing over Kansas City.
That man's a beast. That man's a beast.
Hell, not just that two-tire, you also have Michael Walker, who's actually turned back the clock over in Kansas City.
Michael Walker has turned back the clock. Seth Lugo's
like,
really good.
That's like, damn. And obviously now the Brady Singer's actually going to miss his start tonight, so we all knew, obviously with an illness, and rest up for that.
Yes.
But Seth Lugo has actually been a really nice pickup for them. I've liked what I've seen.
I'm loving it. They got good young pieces. Also, I want to talk about the catcher as well. He turned back the clock.
Perez.
Too.
The dude still fucking rakes. And
dude,
yes, he's not behind the plays as
dude. I saw like a stat. He went from last year batting like under like 200 in the Mendoza line to hitting over 300 again. Like it was like 2015. Like he turned back the clock a few years, man.
I mean, Perez is only 34.
But still, like there were signs of him regressing because of his age.
Yeah, that's true.
But he turned back the goddamn clock. And he's back to playing well.
And obviously he's actually now the DH because he's kind of not he's not the same. Again,
at catcher, yeah, he's not the same. So they probably have him in like a smaller DH role, but in that DH role,
so far in the season, tired in 203 at bats for Perez this year. He's just hitting 325 with a 386 on base, 537 slugging, 923 OPS with the OPS plus of plus 158, which is good for He's 58% better than the average player.
They gave him a limited role, and he has been excelling.
I mean,
read that slugging percentage again, though.
Slugging at 537 at 34.
At 34, 537 slugging percentage.
He's got this season. He has a better slugging percentage than his entire career. His career slugging is at 462.
He exceeded his freaking old slugging percentage.
And jeez. I mean, he's been there.
His whole percentage, man. He exceeded it.
He's a 5-time Gold Glover. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-time All-Star. Has a World Series ring. Obviously, that was actually great to see. Also great to see the Mets in pain, but that's besides the point. But because that was my biggest concern. It's like, because obviously, we see a lot of the older Royals players that leave, not really do too well. I mean, Hosmer is probably the most perfect example for that matter. I mean, was okay, but just hasn't really.
Yeah.
But number 9, going back to the power rankings, you got the Mariners. Oh boy.
They've been waking up a bit. They've been waking up.
They have. They're 31-26 through 57 games.
And it pains me. The guy who actually saved them used to be a Philly.
Yeah.
J.P. fucking Crawford.
And think of this too, he was also a Gold Glover and also made multiple All-Star teams post Philly. How always us? I don't get it. That's here nor there. Number 10, I think you can make it. You got the Padres, who are 30-29.
Padres are kind of like hot and
They're
cold.
Just hovering.
They're basically Katy Perry. Hot and cold. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. It's just, yeah. Tyler, I don't know if you saw this of what Jorge Lopez said. I was like, well, no shit. You do realize how bad the Mets are. And the fact he after that comment and the glove
he got DFA'd after that.
That was funny.
It was funny, but it just shows how soft that organization is.
I would say just dysfunctional for that matter.
And they're soft too. Like, you DFA a player for saying your team fucking sucks.
And the man and it's kind of what's also funny about, say, you want to throw how soft they are. The manager, Mendoza. So obviously, Carlos Mendoza said, "quote unquote," we have standards here. Said before, we'll have a series opener against Arizona. When you're not playing well, guys will show emotions. Well, no shit. That's baseball. Well, that's the sports in general. There's frustrations.
If you suck, it's going to show that you suck.
But there's a fine line, and yesterday he went over the line. Well, no fucking shit. He called you guys' asses out because you guys are fucking trash.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He called you out.
And now the fact that now you got Pete Alonso, I mean, there's been talks with him being fucking in trade rumors, and he hasn't re-signed a new has not gotten an extension from the Mets. I don't, at this point, I've seen a couple baseball contractors asking for the Mets to trade him at this point. Because the Mets,
at this point, they got to just sell. And
taking and looking at the standings according to the National League East, they're 22-33 through 55 games on the season.
Yeah,
they're 2-8 in their last 10 games. Currently, right now, as for time we're streaming, they are losing 2-1 to the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't know. I don't know what is with the Mets, because over the year, I would say this too, like obviously the best teams that I've seen in terms from the Mets were in the early to mid 2000s. Let's be real, we're not the greatest, but they had some really good, promising players. Guys like Gatsa, obviously 2001 was fucking great, despite the that was.
But yeah, they dominated the 2000s pretty much. But the thing is, though, that's the past.
And they had an opportunity to win a World Series in 2015. Completely shit the bed.
They won They almost won a division, completely shit the bed the last game, and then they were a wild card team after that. They blew the fucking roster up.
Yeah, it's just a fucking mess in New York. This is no wonder why I always said I think the Yankees will always continue to run New York, and the Mets are just going to be that like, little stepbrother or the little brother,
And
so
their
to
little
speak.
brother. Their little brother that, that ain't that good. And don't have as many accolades as the big brother.
So this is basically what it. And for those who are wondering, what did Lopez say on his about his behavior? Yeah, obviously throwing the glove in his hands after and you guys go watch that clip on Twitter. But he did say about the glove toss. He's like, quote unquote, I don't regret it. When he was asked about the throwing the glove over the netting, I think I've been looking like the worst teammate and probably in the whole fucking MLB. He literally dropped an F bomb. I was like, damn. But he did address it that posted on the on his IG story. He did say call himself the worst teammate. When
All I've got to say, Rob, is I already like this guy for dropping an F bomb.
Yeah. But last but certainly not least, I want to get a little bit WNBA talking here. There's some teams.
Let's give some women the love, man. Let's talk about the WNBA, man.
With the season kind of been in its early stages. Because I told Key this too. I'm not holding my breath on the Sparks because the last time I said anything about them, it was a complete fucking opposite.
We thought they were going to be decent last year, and they were not even close to decent.
Like, not even that. They were battling for the 8th fucking spot with the Chicago Sky at the time, who were not that great either.
Yeah, we were looking at them. We were like, really? We thought we were going to be better than this, and you're just battling for the 8th spot in the damn conference.
Now, currently, the worst team right now is the Washington Mystics, which is kind of expected for them. I didn't expect them to have.
Is still there, or is she retired?
She actually stepped away she actually took the year off to focus on herself.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you lost your veteran piece. It's like, like I said, it's still, put it this way, Rob. It's basically a chicken with its head cut off. That's what this team is.
Yeah. And the Mystics is one of those teams that really can't escape the injury bug.
Yeah, they can't really escape that.
But looking at the standings, like I said, it is early. But with the Sparks, I like what I've seen from the Sparks, despite the fact they're going to be soon to be 2-5 because they're getting their asses whooped by the Chicago Sky. Which, funny enough,
I'm going to say the Chicago Sky, they did very, very well at Roger Construction. They wound up getting Angel freaking Reese.
And the fact, and speaking of which, let's see how well she's. And
they're actually doing very well. She's been doing very well in the league. Very well.
Hold up, that's ain't it. Reese. Yeah, well, tonight not the best night so far through one half. I played 2 points, 3 rebounds.
Everyone has off nights. Yeah, no big deal.
I mean, Evans right now is currently the leading scorer, but also, I want to talk about the Mercury for a team that last year was, oh boy, how do we describe them? A hot pack of ass, or what do we
said they were 2 packs of ass.
The fact, and not just that too, they were also the return the ball, and this is why. I'm sorry, Mercury fans, we don't want to keep you guys left out because,
like, I'm telling you, the one game I'm like, oh my god, one half they turned over the ball 15 times.
Like it's like,
I think it was a game that we streamed or whatever, if I remember correctly.
This one we didn't.
No, I was casually watching it. Do you still have the WNBA app?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I kind of thought you didn't have it, so I deleted it.
Oh yeah, I've been still watching a lot.
Okay, but yeah, when I was chilling watching the game on the app, I'm like, they turned the ball over 15 times. I was keeping count too. Don't ask me how, but I was. And and they turned over that ball 15 times in one half.
It was just fucking ugly.
And it seemed like every other play it was a turnover for the Mercury. It was bad.
So, oh boy, and yeah, I mean, so far through 7 games, they're 3-4.
The Mercury?
Yeah, they're 3-4 through 7 games.
What?
And they put up a tough fight again. The Liberty pretty much got the money's worth from.
Who the hell did they draft to be that good?
Looking at the box score at. Hold on, I don't think this is the right game. No, this is not the right game. Oh, hang on. I think that's my. Nope, this ain't the right game. Also, the Mercury also set a WNBA record, and not in the good way. 1 for 27 from 3. Can we explain that for one goddamn second?
When you sent me that screenshot with 1 for 27 circle.
Dude, I'm not bold.
I'm like, how the hell were they that bad from 3? Like 1 for 27?
Were they Connecticut?
Were they just shooting nothing but contested shots?
Yep, it was against Connecticut. And Connecticut, who were not that much better either. They were 5 from
the team. I'm saying, were they all just contested shots?
Well, let's take a look at. I'm going to look at the play-by-play.
They were all open. I'd be laughing my ass off. 1 for 27 from 3. That entire damn half.
Yeah, when I'm looking at all the players from Mercury, majority. Dude, I am currently looking at the graphic. Most of their shots miss from 3, and somehow they have a good majority of shots missed from inside the paint for 2. How the fuck did you miss that?
So you're missing layups?
Because at the time, they got their asses blown out 70-47.
70-40.
So and it's kind of fun. Now, so you had Taurasi, who was going to be fucking garbage went 0 for 7 from 3. You had Natasha Cloud 0 for 3. Clea Copper, who I know a lot of Sky fans are the Sky is kind of, I'm going to say we're really regretting, but they could have kept her and have her, Angel Reese, and Camila Cardoso as your big 3 right then and there. She went 0 for 5. Sophie Cunningham went 0 for 5. Birch went 0 for 4.
I think it's because she's kind of like regressed.
Herbert Harrigan's the only one that made a 3 for the Mercury.
So am I the only one that can make a shot? Damn.
Yeah. As a team, they shot 15 for 63 for under 24% from the field, just probably over 3% from 3, and definitely would actually hit their miss 6 free throws.
They were under 20% from the field.
Under 24% from the field against the Connecticut Sun.
Under 24% from the field. That means you're not hitting shit.
Yeah. That's like kind of Tyler playing in 2K. So I'm sorry.
Do you know what's funny? That was legit me playing 2K.
But obviously, the next game, the stats looked a lot better against the Liberty. So that's. But really, I mean, we're looking, and the Mercury playing a tough Western Conference. We have teams like Las Vegas, Minnesota, Dallas, Seattle, who, I'm going to keep this on record too, that I think Seattle is real, and so far through 7 games, I like what I've seen. Unless not like Key, who's still kind of depressed that NECA actually left the Sparks.
Dude, she literally sent a bottle of alcohol after that happened.
I was like, damn.
In a picture. I'm like, shit, you're going through it.
Yeah, and knowing Key, who's a diehard Sparks fan, it's really great.
She had to deal with Candace Parker leaving, and had to deal with Man, she
Don't
had to
she?
do a
Don't
lot of
she?
good.
She didn't. Roy mind leaving was Liz Cambage, and well, take it from us aces, man. Liz was a bit of a head case, so I'm kind of
Oh my gosh, you
so
make
we
me
know
want to
about
fucking
that.
drive my head through a freaking wall.
But so far, I mean, Joe Lloyd's still doing her thing. Like I said, ever since they got NECA, Skylar Dickens Smith, who I'm finally glad that Seattle finally gave her some fucking help because good grief. And Tyler can attest to this too. When we had one with the ladies, like I've always been preaching for Seattle to give Joe Lloyd some freaking help,
We were
or at
like
least
we were basically freaking pleading the entire time. Give this woman some goddamn help.
so far. I mean, they have the best winning streak out of the entire Western Conference.
Cause she has help.
They're
Jewel
on a
Lloyd ain't
3-game
doing
winning
it herself
streak,
now.
and as expected, we still on top of the. Even though it's kind of weird, the Seattle still has the best. Well, yeah, yeah, I think we still. A minute, I must be reading this wrong. No, I think 4-1 still the best record in the Western Conference. I'm a fucking idiot. Jesus Christ, I'm having a mental stroke over here. But and then you have the LA Sparks, currently sitting at 2-4. But like I said, what I've seen from the Sparks, I mean, currently wise, in terms of the roster wise, doesn't really look that bad. I mean, Cameron Brink's been doing some interesting things. Even though De'Erica Hamby, the fact this lady's putting up over 20 points a game is fucking bullshit. Where the fuck was this when you were in fucking Vegas? God damn it. Sorry to say I had to. I like Rakia Jackson. I think that's a really nice shooter out of Tennessee. Kia Nurse finally actually really but their only smallest players is Lexi Brown at 5'9", Larisha Clarendon, who's 5'9", Zaya Cook out of South Carolina is 5'9". Right now, Leah Garou, I don't know, I've never seen her, but she's right kind of the tallest on the roster at 6'7". But Cameron Brink, how does she? Cameron Brink 6'4". Not sets, not too bad. 9.5 points a game, 5.3 rebounds, 2.3 assists, I should say, and 1.2 steals. And from a lot of the stats I've seen from her is more on the defensive end, like she put up 5 blocks against us, even though we still own the Sparks, by the way. So thanks a lot, Key. Sorry, I had to. Sorry, Key. I'm gonna take a little shots at you. They somehow, yeah. Granted, it's rookie pains. But sticking with the WNBA though, this was actually what's interesting that I actually really liked about this. So most of the stars in the WNBA are starting up another league, which is basically a 3, kind of how like Ice Cube has the big 3. They're going to have a 3-on-3
Yeah, I
basketball
heard
called
about that,
Unrivaled.
but the only difference, because they were asked about that too on ESPN, is it going to be like the big 3 where it's just half court? No, they said this is going to be a full court deal.
And the
So
fact that
it's going to be a mixture of like regular basketball and the big 3. So,
which I'm okay with. And Brianna Stewart said we're going to they're going to try to keep most of the players here stateside instead of going overseas to make more money. So they're having a lot of investors putting a lot of money into this. Like, I'm all for it, and shit like this.
more things to watch sports wise, then the better,
Yeah, but ooh. Fever fans, I feel bad. I really do. Tyler, you know what the fucking score is between Seattle and Indiana currently? 103-85.
Oh shit. Okay.
Like I say, how much you want to bet? I will say this too. The last thing before we get about it here. How many years do you think it's going to take for Caitlin Clark to say, you know what, fuck the Indiana, and actually probably ask for a trade or go elsewhere? Because I can potentially could see that, and that would be.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
Not obviously not now,
remember,
but I'm
remember, Rob, when they got her, they're still early in the rebuild.
Oof. Actually, speaking of that, let's take a look at the.
So they got to build around her. If they don't build around her, she's gone.
Oh yeah.
So
And speaking of Clark, she actually is their second leading scorer with 18 points, 9 assists, and 3 rebounds.
she's a decent player in the league right now.
I mean, 3.
And plus, she has to develop her game in the WNBA. She has to develop.
True, but at the same point, my problem
she needs pieces around her.
Pieces around here, and also a coach that knows how to fucking utilize her skill set. Because
her skill set is just walking up to somebody and shooting the ball in their face.
Even though she did it to us, but I mean, so far, well, at least Indiana's not that bad. Well, at least we're not. Washington, man. Yeah, well,
I saw their record just now, and I'm like, oh shit.
They're bad. They're super bad. Yeah.
Jesus.
Like,
like, oh shit.
They got blown up by Seattle, 101-69. Their worst loss came against Seattle, and that was 101-69.
Very nice, by the way. You stopped at 69. Very nice.
Yep.
But they lost. I am 13. I ain't 26. I'm 13.
But they lost to New York 85-80 in a very competitive game at that. They lost to Connecticut by 7. They lost to Seattle 84-75.
But they're close.
They lost to the Sparks by 2, 70-68. Lost to Phoenix 83-80. And their other close was against Atlanta, 73-67.
I mean, they're not bad losses. They're close losses, but like...
The only bad loss was Seattle just gave them a fucking ass whooping.
Seattle just fucking whooped ass that game.
Yeah, that was kind of like freaking me. Boy, that score reminds me when I had to sit through fucking Vegas and Seattle. I super regret sitting through that fucking blowout, for that matter.
I texted you that game too. I was yelling at you, make it stop.
Because at the time I was like, do I want to do a mercy roll? So I was like, screw it, let's just sit through all 4 quarters of fucking just.
I remember like streaming one of the blowouts with you, and I'm just like sitting there looking at the TV all bored. Because it was like the game was over at half.
That's like enough.
I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then it was like the 3rd and 4th quarter. I'm like, ooh, shocker, they made another shot. Oh.
Yeah, it was just getting worse and worse.
I'm like, they won already. I'm done. And I was like out by the 4th quarter.
So, and obviously, we'll discuss on the power rankings a little bit. I'm not kind of surprised that the
Connecticut.
I mean, that's currently at the time when this came out was they're 5-0 at the time. It took the number 1 spot. We dropped down to 3
because you were like cut, and then you didn't even say anything.
But with that being said, that's like I said, I don't want to go right into it. You guys can check this out on ESPN.com, or do you have the app itself?
Oh, you want to talk about the power rankings now? Because I freaking roasted you. Damn.
Well, I'm not going to keep the people watching for too long because we're approaching the 2-hour mark, anyways.
Yeah, we're like.
That being said, guys, thank you guys for hanging out for episode 20 of the All Star Sports Show. And that being said, have a good night, guys.
Peace.